So we're going to roll straight into questions with Austin. If you have one, friendly reminder, raise your hand within the Zoom platform and we'll get to as many questions as we can. And to kick us off today, we're going to go with Bob Puckers. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Austin, I kind of wanted to look ahead to the test on Monday and Tuesday, and how much of it is learning the car and how much is it kind of maybe working with a new group of guys?
I mean, I would say yes to all. Certainly, a lot of emphasis put on these tests because it's all we got. So, and as far as I understand, it's the only NASCAR scheduled road course test, and I wouldn't necessarily classify the ROVAL as kind of your traditional road course. So, a lot of things that I'm trying to focus on to learn, but at the same time, with a race this weekend and within the industry, I can say for our team, it's been not a thrash, but it's certainly been a very busy week in the shop trying to get cars ready to go to tests, cars ready to go to races, and it's been full on. So. Yeah, certainly an importance on both.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question will go to Claire B. Lang. Go ahead, Claire.
Thank you. Austin, can you talk about how much you think people are catching up at the ROVAL? Because when we started, it was such a question mark, right? And talk about looking at this weekend and how much you guys think you have learned.
Well, I think really within the industry, if you think about it, I look back at 2018 when they first ran the track, and I pulled out on the racetrack and I was several seconds faster than the next car. I don't think you're going to ever have that again in NASCAR. And I think there's been a big transition and a big emphasis on driving as far as the road courses and their importance. Obviously, adding one in the playoffs, I feel like was a catalyst for that. So I think the addition of this race in the playoffs really kind of kickstarted that emphasis on this style of racing. And like I said, I don't think you're going to have those second gaps between cars and drivers. I think the drivers and the equipment have really closed the gap to where you probably aren't going to see that again.
Did you think it was really crazy when you first encountered the ROVAL, and do you feel like now everybody's kind of wrapped their minds around it and learned it and they think it's kind of cool?
I wouldn't necessarily say I thought it was crazy. I've done a lot of street course racing, so I've had certainly narrower racetracks and bumpier racetracks, but it's certainly different, the ROVAL. And for me, it was actually an environment I was used to racing in the winter heat. The Legends cars stayed on the infield, but ran the infield road course. So certainly a couple corners that I already knew, but otherwise, it's a unique beast, and the challenge is, as a driver, I don't feel like turns 1 and 2, NASCAR 1 and 2, and NASCAR 3 and 4 are that significant. But if you talk to the crew chiefs and the engineers, those are very different for how we have to deal with those. So it certainly kind of handicaps a lot of the setup of your race car for the infield.
Good luck this weekend. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Claire.
All right. Let's go to Mark Garrow. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you. Thanks, Austin, for being with us. You're 70 plus 77. Are you free to go just try to win this thing with such a big gap? Obviously, it's kind of just start the thing and you're in. How do you look at it?
Yeah, we're advanced to the next round. So I look at it as two-part. One, it is our last opportunity to have a free race that we know of. So whether if that's learning things, kind of being light, giving our guys time to work on our Texas and Kansas cars, all of those things are great. And we're the only ones in that position. So obviously being conscious of the fact that everybody's racing for their season still. But we have that 1 week, which is nice. But on the flip side of that, it's the last week that you can get playoff points that are going to matter. Because after this weekend, our playoff points will pay off for the round of 8, and then it's all about making the Phoenix from there. So we're hunting for playoff points, whether if that's trying to win the race or trying to win stages. So everything else really doesn't affect the rest of my year.
So how do you feel the playoffs have started? Just in general, what's your feel for how the Xfinity Series playoff? A lot of guys had trouble. A lot of guys have not gotten through it very clean.
Yeah, obviously you're going to have that, especially when you had Talladega in the mix. I feel like a lot of guys, really got put in a bad spot with Talladega, as you'd expect. A couple of guys got, some bad luck in Vegas. So, I wouldn't say it was above or below average expectation by any means, but as far as for the 22 team, it's been extremely solid. We've got really fast race cars between Talladega as well as Vegas. I expect us to have a fast car again this weekend at the ROVAL, somewhere that I feel like we got our car a lot better in the dry last year, but we only ran about 6 laps in the dry last year. So I'd like to hopefully continually prove that. But if it rains, whatever, we'll throw them on and turn on the rain lights and get after it.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right. And our next question will go to Taryn Wack. Go ahead, Taryn.
Hi, Austin. Just one question from me. What's it been like balancing your current Xfinity situation but also looking forward to Cup next year?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think this week is a perfect example because I've tried really hard to, get myself in a position by the end of this week to know what to do, know what to expect, know what the priorities are for this test on Monday, Tuesday. But at the same time, on Saturday, I've got a race to try and win. So I'm trying to get to a point where I can, know what that stuff is, write it down and close it off, because obviously winning this championship and doing the most we can to position ourselves for that is top of the list. So that's kind of been a characterization of my entire year. It's something that was really an unknown factor for me for quite a while after knowing I was going Cup racing really this time last year. Was who I was going to be working with. And obviously I'm working with Jeremy Bullins, his team, all the boxes are checked. I know what everything looks like for next year. So I have all the tools to be able to effectively prepare for that. So it's certainly been a balance, and I've been definitely trying not to make it a distraction for myself or my race team.
Thank you.
Okay. And we're going to take one final question, and that will go to Michael Shelton. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you. Austin, you mentioned your Texas and Kansas cars. Just looking ahead to the next round, your last 3 playoff races at Kansas, you finished outside the top 20. So I was just curious, how much of a priority are you looking at Kansas, and how important is it for you to have a strong finish there in the next round coming up?
I tell you what, Kansas has been the kryptonite of the 22 Xfinity team since I've been on the team. It is crazy how bad it goes for us at Kansas. And the tough part is we're usually fast. Whether if it's been my fault or not my fault or whatever, we've been getting wrecks there in every single playoff race. And it's really derailed our playoffs. Last year we had all our playoff points from doing well in the regular season, and we really leaned on that, because otherwise, is pretty terrible. So I'm certainly going to sleep with one eye open heading into Kansas. The best thing we can do, they've changed it now. They've put Texas in front of Kansas. So maybe that's going to be the game changer for us. But yeah, it's been a bit of a disaster there. So even the spring race there, we led every lap and got beat on a final restart. So Kansas has just been a gut punch for me. So I'd certainly like to just walk out of there with a top 10, and I'll probably be happy.
All right. Thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Awesome. Austin, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you making time to speak with the media, and we wish you the best of luck this weekend.
Yep, no problem. Thanks, everyone.